My time in Florida this summer has slowly drawn to a close. Here in the end of July, we're driving north on US Highway 17, beginning the long journey back to New Jersey. The first stop is Huron North End Satsuma, as we're going to be rail fanning on the CSX Sanford Subdivision portion of the A-line. Amtrak train number 53, the southbound auto train, was the first train in daylight through here today, heading south on its final stretch towards Sanford. The Sanford Subdivision portion of the CSX A-line is operated from Jacksonville all the way south to DeLand, where Sunrail territory begins. We move on north into downtown Palatka, right next to this dock along the St. Johns River. This is the reason Palatka, Jacksonville, and Sanford all exist, because of the boat traffic that goes up and down the mighty St. Johns River, which feeds into the Atlantic Ocean in Jacksonville. The farthest north we would travel today is Bostwick, about 10 miles north of Palatka. We're set up just south of the milepost 688 defect detector as Amtrak train number 41 coming out of its stop at Jacksonville is heading south for Palatka, DeLand, and eventually on towards Orlando.
CSX detector milepost 688.5. Detector out. No defects, Edwin.
CSX traffic on the Sanford Subdivision is not as busy as it used to be, since most of the traffic into Florida now runs via the S-Line. This train coming south is weekday local L711, which runs out of Moncrief Yard in Jacksonville and works customers around Palatka.
CSX detector milepost 688.5.
The train stopped at the yard at Certainteed, right before Control Point Bostwick. After an hour and a half of work, they head south for Pecan Yard in Palatka. Once L711 reached Palatka, they went to the south end of the double track, just below Pecan Yard. 4091 would now be the new leader for the return trip back to Jacksonville as they come back up on the main, rolling through to get in the clear for Amtrak 97. The K5LA of an ALC-42 Charger soon entered the picture as Amtrak train number 97 makes its way into Palatka. After talking to the JA dispatcher, L711 gets signal indication to head north out of Palatka on its return trip back to Jacksonville. After grabbing lunch in Palatka, I made my way back north to Control Point Bostwick, as I got word about a loaded coal train symboled R636 coming down the A-line. It was coming here to the Seminole Electric Power Plant, and was loaded coal out of Evansville, Indiana, off of train CO15, which terminates in Jacksonville. Seminole Electric is only one of 2 power plants that still gets coal trains in Florida. The Stanton Energy Center, which is located southeast of Orlando, is the only other one that gets coal trains. Once R636 was all in the plant and clear of the main at Bostwick, Amtrak train number 98, the northbound Silver Meteor with a duo of P-42s, rounds the bend heading north for its next stop at Jacksonville. Our journey in Florida is now coming to a close as we make our way to Pomona Park alongside the A-Line. We got our ticket to hop on board Amtrak train number 52, the northbound auto train, as we head back north to Lorton, Virginia, with a duo of ALC-42 Chargers leading our lengthy passenger train, which is the longest passenger train in the United States. It sure has been a fun adventure in Florida, seeing everything from the Florida Central to the Florida Northern, CSX, and Amtrak all across the Sunshine State. Here's some highlights of the trip north on Amtrak's auto train as we head from Florida north into Georgia, riding the setting sun.